Have you ever asked yourself, who am I really? Am I good enough, strong enough, worthy enough to stand tall in this world? Every single day, society tries to answer that question for you. People label you, they judge you, they doubt you, and slowly you start believing you're small, ordinary, just someone standing in the shadow of others. But today I want you to pause, take a deep breath, and listen carefully. Act as if you are the best, not to compete, not to crush anyone else, but because deep inside your soul, there's a fire waiting to rise. There's a crown waiting to be placed on your head. The Stoics, the whispers of Marcus Aurelius, remind us you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's the key. Real power isn't in money. It isn't in status. Real power is in mastering yourself. Think about it. How many times have you let the eyes of others define you? You post a photo and wait for the likes to feel worthy. You walk into a room and stay silent, afraid of being judged. But don't you see? When you live like that, you hand over the keys of your value to someone else. The Stoics would say that's an illusion. You can't control their eyes. You can't control their gossip. But you can control your mind. And if you can control your mind, you hold the power to transform your entire life. So imagine this. Tomorrow, you walk into work. No boasting. No shouting. I'm the best. You just stand tall, breathe deep, and carry yourself as if no one can shake you. What happens? Others may not understand it, but they will feel it. They will feel your calm, your confidence, your quiet strength. And that right there is silent power. Now maybe you're thinking, but what if I'm not really the best? What if I fail? Here's the truth. You don't have to compare. Being the best doesn't mean standing above others. It means living at your full potential, not hiding, not shrinking, not asking for permission to be great. And from this moment on, I want you to carry one affirmation. Don't just hear it say it, write it, breathe it. I act as if I am the best because I honor my own power. This isn't arrogance. This isn't pride. This is commitment. Commitment that you will no longer let outside judgment control you. Commitment that from today forward, you will walk with respect for yourself. And when you live with this affirmation in your heart, miracles happen. You stop chasing permission. You stop begging for approval. You begin to live with inner strength, strength no one can take away. So, right now, stand tall, breathe deep, step into life as someone already wearing the crown. You are not a shadow. You are not here to hide. You were born to shine. You were born for greatness. And if these words strike something in you, don't just sit there. Act. Hit like. So this message spreads further. Share this video with a friend, a colleague, someone who needs to remember their own power, and most importantly, subscribe right now. Because this isn't just videos. This is a journey, a movement, a community of warriors learning to live with strength, with freedom, with greatness. Don't just listen. Join in. Don't just receive. Build with us. Because we're not just creating content. We're building a movement of strength, of courage, of stoic fire in the 21st century. Lesson 1. Master your mind, or it will master you. Have you ever felt like your own mind is your biggest enemy? Not the tough boss, not the critical coworker, not the struggles out there, but those whispers in your head. You're not good enough. You're going to fail. They're all better than you. The Stoics knew this truth thousands of years ago. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And you know what? That's why some people collapse before the fight even begins. They already lost in their mind. Think about it. How many times have you let fear call the shots you want to speak in a meeting, but you stay silent? You have a new idea, but you kill it before it's born. You dream of change, but you retreat because your imagination magnifies failure. Sound familiar? That's when your mind owns you. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's not just philosophy. That's the key to breaking the invisible chains that hold you back. So, how do we master the mind? The Stoics gave us practices, not just words. Pause before reacting. When someone offends you, don't explode. That pause proves your emotions don't own you. Choose your response with clarity. Instead of lashing out, ask, what choice reflects the person I want to be? Focus only on what you can control. You can't control the weather. You can't control what people think. But you can control your attitude, your choices, your actions. Picture this. Your mind is a kingdom. You are the king, the queen. Every thought is a guest knocking at your gate. Some bring strength, some bring fear, and you are the guard. You decide who enters. If you don't take charge, the enemy will seize the throne. But if you do, you'll rule a fortress no storm can shake. Here's the truth. The greatest among us are not the ones who never feel fear. They worry, they doubt, they hurt just like us. But they rise. They stare fear in the face and say, "You don't control me." That's why Epictetus, born a slave, crippled in body, still taught emperors. He knew this. No one is truly free who has not mastered himself. So if you want to act like the best, don't start with looks. Don't start with trophies. Don't start with applause. Start within. Start with your thoughts. Because when you master your mind, you master your emotions, your actions, your life. And right now, I want you to take a deep breath and say this with me. Not just with your lips, but with your heart. I master my mind. I will not be mastered by it. Say it again. Let it sink deep. This is your first crown. This is the beginning of walking into the world with calm, with clarity, with a strength no one can break. Lesson 2. Control your emotions. Master your calm. Ask yourself this: what really makes us suffer? Is it the event, the insult, the failure out there? The Stoics gave us the answer long ago. It's not the thing itself that hurts us. It's how we respond to it. Epictetus said men are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of them. Think about that. A storm hits. One person panics. Another stays calm, steering the ship through the waves. The storm didn't change. What changed was the state of mind. Most of our pain doesn't come from life. It comes from us. Anger turns a small spark into a war. Fear turns a challenge into an impossible mountain. Sadness, when we let it linger, turns one failure into a lifetime of regret. So what did the Stoics teach? Emotions are not the enemy. But if you don't master them, they will chain you. The best are not those without feelings. They fear, they grieve, they rage. But they don't let emotions take the throne. They turn storms into lessons, fear into power, sorrow into peace. So how do we practice this? When angry, don't react. Be silent. Watch your anger as if from a distance. The moment you observe, you step out of its grip. When afraid, remind yourself fear is just a story, not reality. How many times have you worried about disaster only to see it never arrive? When sad, return to what you control. Your breath. Small actions you can still take. The values you can still live by. Remember, mastering emotions doesn't mean becoming a machine. It means choosing your response instead of being dragged like a puppet. Picture this. You're standing in a storm. Winds scream. Waves crash. The ordinary person trembles, swept away. But the one who has mastered himself stands like a lighthouse, steady, bright, unshaken. That calm, that presence, is the kind of strength the world cannot ignore. Marcus Aurelius, even as Emperor of Rome, wrote in his Meditations, "Do not let emotions cloud your reason." If a man leading an empire through war could train himself in calm, why can't we? Maybe you're asking. But what if I can't hold it? What if I still explode in anger or drown in worry? Here's the truth. It's a process. No one perfects it on day one. But every time you choose silence over rage, you grow stronger. Every time you remind yourself fear is an illusion, you break another chain. Every time you return to what you control, you build a fortress inside. Mastering emotions is the art of living. It doesn't make you cold. It makes you free. Free from anger. Free from panic. Free from endless sorrow. And right now, I want you to declare with me, I control my emotions. They do not control me. Say it loud. Let your heart hear it. Let your mind remember it. Because when you live by this truth, you are not just calmer. You are stronger. And in that strength, you begin to act like the best. Not because you have no emotions, but because you have mastered them. Lesson 3. Master. Discipline. Be honest with yourself. How many times have you started a plan, only to quit halfway? How many goals have you set, only to let old habits drag you back to the starting line? We like to believe greatness comes from big moments, a huge win, a glorious achievement. But the truth is, this greatness is not a single moment. Greatness is the grind, day after day, step after step. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly. A giant tree doesn't rise overnight. It begins as a tiny seed. Then day by day, month by month, year by year, roots dig deep, trunk grows tall until it stands unshakable. And so it is with you. Your greatness doesn't come from a burst of motivation. It comes from steady, relentless discipline." So what is discipline? Discipline is getting up in the morning even when your body begs for more sleep. Discipline is training when laziness whispers in your ear. Discipline is sitting down to work, to read, to study when your phone, your feed, your distractions are pulling you away. Seneca reminded us, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." You have time. The question is, will you waste it on meaningless habits, or will you use it to sharpen yourself every single day? The Stoics knew this discipline is not chains. Discipline is freedom. At first it feels heavy, restricting. But the longer you walk with it, the more you see it liberates you. From weakness, from regret, from wasted life. Without discipline, you are a slave to emotion, to delay, to excuses. With discipline, you are the master of yourself, of your destiny. So how do we build discipline? Start small, but stay consistent. Don't wait for perfect. Begin with a single habit. Wake 15 minutes earlier, read 10 pages a day, move your body for a few minutes. Turn habits into power. Repeat an action long enough and it becomes part of you. Never underestimate small steps. They pave the big road. Keep your promises to yourself. When you say you'll do something, even the smallest thing, follow through. Each promise kept builds trust in yourself. Each promise broken shatters your self-respect. Look at history. Every philosopher, every warrior, every artist, every leader had one thing in common: they didn't wait for inspiration. They let discipline lead. They built strong, steady habits until greatness was inevitable. Discipline doesn't just shape the body. It shapes the soul. It teaches patience, endurance, resilience. It makes you a steady flame, not a candle that burns bright and dies quickly. And today I want you to claim your third crown, the crown of discipline. Say it with me. Let it sink into your heart. Let it carve into your mind. Discipline is my crown. I rise daily as the best. When you live by this, change will come. Not loud, not sudden, but steady. Every day you grow stronger. Every day you grow freer. Every day you grow greater. And soon the world will see it. The quiet, undeniable strength of someone who has mastered discipline, and through discipline, mastered life. Lesson 4. Stand strong in hardship. Be honest with me. Have you ever wished for an easy life, a smooth road, no pain, no struggle? But here's the truth. Hardship is not a curse. Hardship is opportunity. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome, wrote these immortal words: "The obstacle to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That's the secret of the great. They don't run from struggle. They use it. They turn hardship into the very staircase that lifts them higher. Think of steel. Before it becomes unbreakable, it must face the fire. Without fire, it stays soft. Without pressure, it snaps in two. But forged in flames, it becomes indestructible. And so it is with you. The nights you thought you couldn't take another step. The days you felt crushed under the weight of it all. Those very moments are the fire shaping your strength. The Stoics teach us this: don't call hardship your enemy. Call it your teacher. Every obstacle is a lesson. Every failure is training. Instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What can I learn? How will this shape me?" And don't just wait for struggle. Train for it. Sleep on the ground to remind yourself you can live with little. Fast for a day to know hunger won't kill you. Walk barefoot to grow familiar with discomfort. Because if you can train your spirit in calm times, you'll be ready when the storm comes. Look at Epictetus, born a slave, crippled in body, stripped of freedom. And yet he refused to be broken. He turned pain into wisdom. He turned chains into lessons. He rose so high that even emperors came to learn from him. And that proves one thing: hardship does not define you. How you face it does. So when adversity hits, what will you do? Collapse or stand tall? The Stoics remind us, hold your dignity even in suffering. You can be poor, but never dishonorable. You can fail, but never lose your worth. You can hurt, but still walk with your head held high. Picture yourself as a lighthouse in the dark sea. Waves crash, winds scream, the sky is black. Yet the lighthouse stands, unshaken, shining, guiding others through the storm. That's what the best do. They don't just endure for themselves, they become strength for others. So remember this: no one is forged in comfort. Greatness is born from fire, from pressure, from life's earthquakes. Don't curse adversity, thank it, because it is shaping you, strengthening you, making you unshakable. And right now, take a deep breath. Say this with me, not as words, but as a vow, as a compass for your life. I will stand strong in hardship. I am the lighthouse in the storm, steady and guiding. When you believe this, fear fades. You won't shrink when trials come. You'll look them in the eye and smile, because you know what stands in the way becomes the way. Lesson 5. Walk with quiet confidence, not loud pride. Have you ever met someone who didn't have to say a word, didn't have to prove anything, yet the moment they walked into the room, the whole atmosphere shifted? You can't explain it, but you can feel it. That is the power of quiet confidence. The Stoics believed this true confidence doesn't need noise, doesn't need boasting. It's like a mountain. A mountain never declares, "I am tall, I am mighty." Yet when you stand before it, you feel its greatness instantly. But here's the mistake most people make. They confuse arrogance with confidence. They shout louder to get attention. They show off to cover what they lack inside. They argue, they brag, they fight to prove they're better than others. But that's not strength. That's weakness wearing a mask. Pride is loud. Confidence is presence. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That's it. The truly strong don't need to debate their worth. They live it, they act it, and their life does the talking. So how do we practice quiet confidence? Let actions speak louder than words. Don't announce your discipline, let results prove it. Don't claim greatness, let consistency show it. Show discipline through consistency. Others may sway with trends, with opinions, but you stay firm on the path you've chosen. Hold your silence with dignity. When provoked, don't fall into petty arguments. Your calm is your loudest statement. Think of fire. A weak flame bursts bright, then dies out. But a strong fire burns steady, lasting, warming everything around it. Quiet confidence is that steady fire, strong, enduring, radiating strength without a single word. Look at history. The most respected were never the loudest. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, still wrote humble reminders to himself in silence. Epictetus, born a slave, taught with calm wisdom that shaped generations. They never screamed to prove their greatness. Their presence was the proof. Do you see it now? When you walk with quiet confidence, you free yourself from the exhausting race for recognition. You don't need applause to feel worthy. You don't need agreement to know you're right. You stand firm in silence, and from that silence, true power radiates. And right now, I want you to claim this truth. Let it carve deep into your mind. Carry it with you every step you take. My confidence is quiet. My strength is unshakable. Say it loud, then fall silent. Let the world feel it without you having to prove a thing. Because in the end, the best are not the ones heard the most. The best are the ones whose very presence makes the world fall silent and listen. Lesson 6. Practice gratitude, the silent source of strength. Pause for a moment. Ask yourself, do you really see what you have, or do you only see what you lack? Modern life teaches us to run after money, status, recognition. But the faster we run, the more empty we feel. And then the Stoics whisper, a truth. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Gratitude turns hardship into a teacher. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into sacred ones. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. If your mind feeds only comparison, you'll always feel less. If it feeds only dissatisfaction, you'll always feel cheated. But if you plant the seeds of gratitude, you'll see even an ordinary day shine like a miracle. Think about it. Every morning you wake up, breathe walk that alone is a gift millions no longer have. A simple meal, a loving embrace, a chance to learn. If you live in gratitude, these things become fuel for your spirit every single day. The Stoics didn't just teach us to be grateful for blessings, they taught us to be grateful for hardship. Why? Because hardship is the most honest teacher. Every pain builds strength, every failure teaches humility, every setback reveals a deeper layer of who you are. So how do we practice gratitude daily? Write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be grand. A glass of cool water, a moment of peace, a friend's patience, proof that life never abandoned you. Be grateful for hardship. Instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Be grateful for yourself. Pause and acknowledge you've survived tough days. You didn't quit. You're still here, still moving forward. That deserves respect. Gratitude is more than comfort. It's a shield. It guards your mind against envy and comparison. When you're grateful, you stop chasing. They're richer. They're better. They're more. You pause. You smile. You realize life has already given you enough to be strong enough to grow, enough to be happy. Gratitude calms anger. It dissolves fear. It awakens a silent strength, like an underground stream, quiet, unseen, but powerful enough to nourish an entire forest. And right now, I want you to declare this with me. Each day, I am grateful, and in gratitude, I become richer and stronger. Say it again. Let it sink into your heart. Because when you live with gratitude, you don't just find peace. You find resilience. You find unshakable strength untouched by comparison, scarcity, or doubt. The best are not the ones who have everything. The best are the ones who are grateful for everything. And through gratitude, they turn life itself into a journey of wealth, power, and sacred meaning. Lesson 7. Live with purpose. Ask yourself this: what am I really living for? Why do I wake up each morning if I were gone tomorrow? What would remain after me? That question might shake you. But the Stoics always reminded us, greatness is not for serving yourself. It is for serving others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What's bad for the hive is bad for the bee." We don't live in isolation. We are part of a family, a community, humanity itself. If your life circles only around your own gain, you will soon feel empty. But when you live for something larger than yourself, every step suddenly carries weight. Purpose isn't found in money, fame, or titles. How many have climbed to the top of power and still felt alone? How many are rich, yet hollow in spirit? The Stoics knew purpose is the true compass of a life. It gives meaning beyond every reward the world can offer. So how do we practice living with purpose? Use strength to lift, not to crush. If you have power, protect. If you have wisdom, guide. If you have talent, inspire. Build a life tied to legacy and values. Ask, what do I want to leave behind when I pass through this world? A teaching, an example, a work that serves others, That is true legacy. Serve each day with kindness, wisdom, and presence. Service doesn't always mean grand gestures. Sometimes it's listening with full attention. A word of encouragement at the right moment. A steady hand when someone falls. Seneca said, "Life is like a story. It doesn't matter how long it is, but how good it is. A short life lived with purpose, leaving an imprint, is worth more than a century lived and forgotten." Think of Epictetus. He had no wealth, no freedom, no glory. His body crippled, his beginning as a slave. And yet he lived with purpose, to share wisdom, to train the soul, to leave behind words that endure. And now, thousands of years later, his voice still speaks, still guides generations. That is the power of a life with purpose. So don't ask, "How do I become the best?" Ask, "How will I serve this world?" Because when you live for something beyond yourself, you no longer need recognition. Recognition comes to you. Right now, take a deep breath and declare this with me. Living with purpose is the ultimate crown. Say it again. Feel the weight in every word. Because when you live with purpose, you don't just grow stronger, you become immortal in your own way. Fame may fade, wealth may vanish. But purpose, when you live by it, becomes a legacy that endures. And when you walk with purpose, the world will see you differently. Not because you're trying to prove something, but because you've truly become part of the meaning of life itself. Greatness is not a prize. Greatness is not a medal someone hangs around your neck. Greatness is a decision you repeat every single day, a decision only you and no one else can make. On this journey, we've uncovered 7 crowns of greatness, not crowns to display, crowns to wear, to live with, to walk with in every moment of your life. The first crown, master your mind. If you don't control your mind will control you. But when you rule your thoughts, you rule your inner world. The second crown, walk with quiet confidence, not loud, not boastful. True confidence is like a mountain, steady, mighty present. The third crown, stand strong in adversity, because fire forges steel, and obstacles are not barriers, they are the path. The fourth crown, relentless discipline. No one becomes great in a single moment. Greatness is built in habits, in persistence, in every small step repeated again and again. The fifth crown, live with purpose. A life lived only for yourself is hollow. But when you live for something greater, you leave a legacy that endures. The sixth crown, control your emotions. The strong are not those without feelings. The strong are those who refuse to be ruled by them. And the seventh crown, practice gratitude. Gratitude turns what you have into enough. Gratitude turns hardship into lessons. Gratitude turns ordinary days into sacred ones. These 7 crowns are not theory. They are tools. They are keys. They are weapons you carry on the path to mastering your life. So ask yourself, will you wait for the world to recognize you? Or will you decide today to live as the best? The best don't sit still, waiting for applause. The best don't chase empty praise. The best decide every morning, every task, every trial that they will live as if the crown is already on their head. And here is the final message I want you to carve into your soul. The best do not wait for recognition. They decide each day to live as the best. Now, I want you to join me in a declaration, a commitment for your journey. Say it out loud. Let it echo in your heart. Let the world hear it in your steps. I rise every day as the best. I honor my mind, my strength, and my purpose. Remember this. You were not born to shrink. You were not born to fade. You were born to shine. You were born to stand tall. You were born to rise as the best.